Expo Studio.
Welcome to our audience around the world. We would like to welcome you to a new episode in our Digital Innovation and Transformation series. Today, our special guest is Pascal Bornet, who is recognized as a global expert and pioneer in the field of intelligent automation and hyper automation. Pascal, welcome.
Thank you very much, John. Thanks.
As a member for the Forbes Technology Council, perhaps you could share with our audience what you believe will be the major technology trends that will define the digital era.
I think it's not going to be one technology. It's going to be um, different technologies, a variety of technologies converging together to provide us, a human, with the capacity to deliver more benefits in terms of, for example, saving lives, helping us to focus on work that really matters and that creates the maximum value. So I think it's going to be a combination of technologies. Those technologies will be anything from machine learning, what we call artificial intelligence today, which is about mimicking human intelligence, all the way through natural language processing, which is about connecting with the human language, understanding the language, basically our ears and our tongue. Computer vision, which basically is our eyes, so the capacity to see, to read, and of course the capacity to execute actions. And here you have robotics, in the physical world, but in the more digital world, you have robotic process automation, and you have a lot of new technologies coming in, like the low-code platforms, like that are helping to democratize such technology, more rule-based technology to help in a variety of ways, especially in automating some part of the repetitive, tedious work um, that some people are doing in companies. And I think, I mean, beyond the technology, so the most important is what do we want to solve? What do we want to do with those technologies? Uh, and and um, and here it's about saving money, saving lives, making our lives better, um, helping us to focus on what really matters. And what I'm really passionate about is making us more human. Okay, so helping us to focus on what makes us passionate, energized, um, and which is really what makes us human. And technology has the capacity to free up us from transactional repetitive activities, and and give us this opportunity to really focus on what matters for each of us.
As a senior executive with more than 20 years of experience in digital transformation, what are your thoughts on how the pandemic has influenced corporate decision making?
I think the pandemic, of course, is a challenge for everyone of us, and especially I'm thinking of those who lost their loved ones, and definitely there is a lot, 95% of negative aspect around this pandemic. I can maybe see 5% of it has benefited or is benefiting to our world, given by this pandemic, has pushed all of us and pushed companies as well to rethink themselves. And we've seen a lot of companies that previously implemented intelligent automation, machine learning, and the different technologies that we discussed before, in order to be more competitive on the market. Now, with the pandemic, it's adopting those new technologies and transforming themselves is becoming vital. The companies that have not gone through this transformation currently are either they are not here or they are just surviving. I think it has pushed incredibly companies to rethink themselves, and I think again the ones that have not gone through this painful transformation either are just surviving or will fail in the next few months. So it's a survival issue here.
Because you are known as a digital influencer, lecturer, and speaker, and I'm sure we all have different perspective of the impact of technology in our society. But you've been awarded the global top voice in tech. What's your perspective in this impact for all these emerging technologies?
The lessons learned from what we've seen will definitely stay forever. The scarves will stay forever. And the companies that have taken the opportunity to challenge themselves and transform themselves during this pandemic will be the ones that will thrive in the future. So you see, some companies have seen the pandemic as an obstacle, a challenge. The other ones have seen it like an opportunity to reinvent themselves. And I think the second type of companies will be the ones that will thrive in the future.
You recently wrote an Amazon bestseller on intelligent automation, which you just mentioned, and where you and your co-authors share how to harvest artificial intelligence to boost business. So can you please share your experience in deciding to write this book and why you believe intelligent automation can make our world more human?
I can cite the book that we have released recently. When I say we, it's my co-authors and I, and you can see the cover. In this book, we start with what is the promise of intelligent automation. Intelligent automation being this combination of technologies that I explained at the beginning. Not only technologies, but also methods, okay, that involve people, organizations, and processes. The promise of this new concept of intelligent automation is the capacity to save 10 plus million lives in the world every year, thanks to improvements in diagnosis of illness, thanks to the capacity to research drugs far better than we do, thanks to the capacity to also help more people around the world, thanks to remote platforms, for example, that help to support anyone around the world at any time with the advice of a doctor, a real doctor. Okay, so 10 plus million lives. It's also 10 plus trillion dollars that we could save every year, and that could help us to double the budget of education or double the budget of health globally. And we could find this money in avoiding fraud, okay, thanks to technology, in avoiding errors, medical errors. If technology could help us to relieve this stress, to relieve those laborious, stressful situations at work. And on top of this, it's about improving employee experience. It's about improving customer experience. It's about and it's about improving the competitiveness and the efficiency of companies in a range of 20 to 60%.
Going more into the details about your opinion in those key traits that define successful leaders. Now that you mentioned leadership, what are you think those are? What are those key traits to define these leaders for this new era?
At some point in time, because technology will help us take most of the repetitive transactional work that we are doing today, and based on our research, this work accounts for about 70% of the work that we are doing. Meaning we would remain with the scope of about 30% of the current work. The question is then, what do we do with the rest of our time? And this is where I come back to a point that I just gave you at the beginning, which was refocusing ourselves, the capacity to refocus ourselves on what makes us human, what we like, what our passions are. Okay, what energizes us and what passionates us. Of course, in the book we explain how to go there, because it's not a simple journey, and especially there is a need to implement wealth sharing mechanisms that we explain in the book. Okay. So back to your question, the book. So the book is something that my co-authors and I had in mind for 4 years. Okay, it took us 18 months to write it. And the reason why it took so long is that it is the first one in the field of intelligent automation. So we've been working in this area for the last 10 years, and it's we've had to create everything from scratch, all the frameworks, all the leading practices. We've, of course, so it's not, it would have been difficult to do it only the three of us. So we've invited in this work 200 plus intelligent automation experts through surveys around the world, and the outcome is a book that is very complete, very comprehensive. That is just a starting point, also to so much more content that we can build in this field. I like to explain that the book is split into three main parts, and really targets a large audience. Really, there is no background to have to read it. Okay, it's very simple. The language is very simple, and we've taken care to explain any notion, any concept behind what we say. It's very useful for CEOs or executives in their companies who wants to understand what is intelligent automation, what they can get from it, what are the benefits they can expect, how to organize such a transformation, what to look for, what to take care of. It's also very interesting for project managers, people who will do the implementation. They will be able to understand what are the leading practices, how to organize such a transformation, such a project, what are the key milestones, who should govern each step, what to take care of in the detail, really in the hands-on advice to those people. And the third type of readers who will enjoy the book are people that are even not working in corporate, or even anyone basically who's interested in the future of work, the future of our society, the impact of such concepts and technologies on our world, the promise it has, and we discussed about it right now, but also what are the consequences to the world, and what are the imperatives our world need to put in place to make sure that we maximize the positive impact of those technologies. It goes everything from how to review, how to rethink education, to refocus it on what really matters and what really makes our difference between our skills and technology skill, how to share better the wealth, because we've seen over the last decades that technology advancement has increased the inequality in wealth across the people. So this is something to be very careful of, because we don't want this progress to only benefit to some of the people around the world, but really we need to bring everyone with us. And the job of our world, our society around it, because work today is a key structure to our daily life, and we've been raised for that. We've been educated for that. We've been educated by our parents to have a work, to be able to feed ourselves, feed our kids. But what if work is different? What if we have more time? What would we do with that? Would that be a good thing, a bad thing? And would that be an opportunity to reinvent our society?
Pascal, thank you for joining us today and your willingness to share your insights with our audience. Any parting message you wish to share before we end?
I think the leaders of the new era are people who have the skills that are the most complementary with technology's potential skills. Okay, so what I'm talking here is what are the skills that make us different from technologies. the skills that technology will never be able to get to. So I think the leaders of the future will be the leaders who will be, first of all, able to connect the best with technology. So be as much as possible complementary to technology. And what I mean here is those skills should be the skills that make us human different from technology. Basically, those skills that technology will never be able to get to, will never be able to automate. And those skills are also the skills that make us human. So those skills are creativity. Second one is about critical thinking. So it's about really connecting ideas that are far the one from the other, or that are difficult to connect, and that only our human brain for the time being is able to do that. And I think in the future, even in the future, it's going to be difficult for technology, or it's going to take a very long time for it to get to it. Key skill is about adaptation. So as you said, the pace of the environment is moving extremely rapidly. We need to be able to learn quickly, and this is something that we need to teach our kids right now. The capacity to adapt to these ongoing changes in the world and learn and be able to build from that. We are talking here, I mean, intelligent automation is a field that is only 3 years old, coined 3 years ago by IEEE. So it's I mean, my job was not existing 10 years ago. Okay, so it's really about reinventing, taking this, being able to reinvent ourselves regularly. And another critical skill from those leaders is around people, and that I think is not different from the leaders of today. It's around understanding people, managing people, motivating people, because at the end of the day, people build the technology, but if and people use the technology. So if there is a disconnection between both, it's not going to work. So it's really about managing change, communicating, motivating. This has existed for forever, I think, for a leader, but I think will be even more critical in the future when, and we've seen it with the current pandemic, where people are have to work remotely and are then further the one from the others. I think the leaders who thrive in this environment will be those ones who will stay connected with their teams, understanding and catching up regularly with them, yeah, and managing the change and motivating the people. That's key.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our session, and we are looking forward to our next episode in this digital innovation and transformation series. Thank you again, Pascal.
Rev Expo Studio.